like to call this meeting to order. I'm going to read the clerk's report of compliance. In accordance with South Carolina Code of Laws, 1976, Section 30-4-80D, as amended, notification of the meeting and the meeting's agenda were posted at least 24 hours prior to the meeting on the County Council building at a publicly accessible place on the county website, and a copy of the agenda was provided to the local news media and all persons or organizations requesting notification. Thank you, John. I'd like to have it, we are going to executive session to discuss of negotiations incidental to proposed contract arrangements and proposed purchase or sale of property, the receipt of legal advice where the legal advice related to pending, threatened, or potential claim or other matters covered by attorney-client privilege, settlement of legal claims or the position of the public agency in other adversary situations involving the assertion against the agency of a claim, class action regarding ultra-processed foods, litigation update, Southern Health Partners Incorporated, tax map number 0870005-009 and 0870005-008, 0632702, 002, and 063161401. Any discussion? Do I have a motion to go in executive session?
I'll make a motion to go into executive session.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any comment? Hearing none, all those in favor raise their right hand and vote aye.
Aye.
Motion is passed. Executive session. I'd like to have a motion to come out of executive session.
I'll make a motion to come out of executive session.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any comment? Hearing none, all raise their right hand and say aye.
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 All against? Motion is passed. I will do the Pledge of Allegiance. Mr. Chris, would you do the invocation? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let us pray. Lord, thank you for this time together. Lord, let us open our ears today, Lord, so we can hear, make the right decisions for our constituents and the people of this great county. Father, I just thank you for everybody here. Lord, I just pray for a blessing for Wanda today, Lord. She's feeling out of sorts. Just touch her, Lord. Give her a blessing. I just thank you for this time. In Jesus' name we pray, amen.
Approval of the agenda. I would like any discussion. My discussion is adjournment is added to the agenda. I'm sure everybody would like that. Like to have a motion to approve the agenda, adding number 13, adjournment.
I'll make a motion to add adjournment.
Approve it. You approve the agenda.
Approve the agenda.
As, okay. Do I have a second?
I'll second, Mr. Chair.
All those in favor, raise their right hand.
Aye.
And say
Aye.
aye. All against? Hearing none, the motion has passed. The approval of the minutes of 4/28/2025. Any discussion? Do I have a motion to approve, disapprove, or amend?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of 4/28/2025.
Do I have a second?
Mr. Chairman, I'm going to abstain from the vote on this because I wasn't here at that time.
Mr. Chairman, I'll second.
All those in favor, raise their right hand.
Aye.
Anybody against? Motion is passed. Number 6, Jim and Kate Schaefer.
Mr. Chairman, I suggest you take them in that order. The Transportation Sales Tax Advisory Committee met recently, last Friday, reviewed this information, but Jim has the program manager package prepared for you, and he wanted to run through that with you today because we will be bringing that for you at your regular meeting on the 2nd for your consideration.
Good morning, Council.
Good morning.
So, we are about to be in a position to hire a program manager for our transportation sales tax. We got requests for qualifications, and there was 4 firms that submitted, and the team, Transportation Advisory Team, looked at those along with staff, and we picked Infrastructure Consulting Engineers as the most qualified. After that package was looked at, the Transportation Advisory Council took a look at that and thought that was a good idea, so we moved forward with trying to negotiate a contract with them. What was included in your packet and what we'll be asked to make a decision on September 2nd is those contract terms. Kim Burgess, David Tedder, and myself met with the consultant and worked through these contract items. And there was some things added that after discussion with the consultant we thought were missing and thought were a good idea to add, so those were added so that we could make a complete package. Basically, the contract for program management for the first 5 years is $8.95 million. That is assuming that there are 12 projects that are going to be started and need management. There are several things in the document that are very easy to put numbers to, like standing up the website and getting that transparency out to the public. There's a firm number in the contract for those types of services. But then there are placeholders where we've put in a number for like Argent Boulevard, the management of that project. We don't have a specific scope because we have yet to figure out all the details to make that move ahead. But there is money for 12 of those projects to move forward. That, again, we have money in there, but there's not a defined scope, and that defined scope will be looked at as those come online. As you authorize, hey, we want to do this project and that project, we will bring those forward and negotiate that portion of the contract. Overall, if you take a look at this, if you were to extend the 5-year number out to the full 15 years, it's 7.1% of the total transportation side of the contract. That number is a little bit high because, again, the first 5 years we're going to be doing a lot of things to stand up the program that in year 7 or 8 won't have to be done. So if you we are anticipating it to be about 6.1% of the total over the 15-year project. To give you an example of other counties, Horry County was 6.5% of their program. Sorry, that was Richland County. Horry County was 5.5%, and York County was 5.0%. So that's kind of an overview. The consultant is here if we have specific questions or you have specific questions for him, and open it up to questions.
Mr. Mangiesen.
So is the 8.9 million for 5 years or 15?
That's for the first 5 years.
That's for the first 5
And
years.
so this contract is a definite 5-year contract.
Right.
And there are, we can extend it if so choose, but again, this is a firm contract for 5 years.
Okay, thank
Mr. Orzillo.
Jim, just for the people watching, what exactly are they gonna be doing? I know consulting, but that's a vague thing for everybody.
So right now, what was identified and what was voted on were 15 projects on the roadside. And those were assumed to have a certain budget for each one of them. That's what is there right now. Now we've got to take that idea and get it out to a contractor to build it and get this infrastructure in place. So to do that, normally on an infrastructure project, a lot of times we would have county staff manage those things internally. Because of the volume of this project and all the things that need to be done, we have a county staff right now of one. That would be myself. And so we need help in standing up this program and managing it. So what will they be doing? They will be standing up a information website and making sure that the general public knows what's going on, how much is being spent, who's spending it, what the projects are, what the time frames are. They'll be helping get contractors, engineers on board to design these projects. They will be reviewing those projects that the engineering firm is doing to develop the contract plans. They'll be working on right-of-way. They'll be working on utility coordination. They'll be working on getting things out to the general public. They'll be working, once the contractor is named, they'll be working on reviewing what's going on out in the field. So again, they are going to be watching the breadth and scope of all these things to make sure that the people's money is being spent correctly and being spent right the first time, and making sure that we don't have to go back and say, oh, we forgot, and that's going to cost more money. Oh, we forgot about this, and we need to do that. They are going to help manage it to be as efficient as we can with the public's dollar.
Thank you, Jim.
Mr. Jean.
Yeah, I have a couple of questions. First of all, I'm glad Greenbelt is involved in this because it kind of puts the guardrails around something that I just don't want to see the impacts that we've had in the past that have caused this kind of headache at this point in time, because if proper planning would have been in place to begin with, I don't think we would have had these headaches. Like Argent Boulevard was like a disaster to me. So I just hope that they can make a comfortable kind of transportation arrangement where it's more pedestrian friendly and that type of thing. We have paths and more environmentally sound kind of policies that go along with just construction that happened in the past. So I'm glad about the Greenbelt Initiative as being part of this. The other thing, let's see, I read in the RFQ that there's going to be reliance on Jasper County staff. Staff is like taxed to the hilt. I think they've got a lot of things on their plates. I was just wondering how much the consultant will rely on our Jasper County staff, the attorney, our legal support and that type of thing. I'd like to see what that, how much of that is going to impede or impose on our staff, basically.
I think it's going to be making sure that my job is to make sure that they are managing the way that council wants things done.
Mm-hmm.
There are going to be some things that they develop. There's going to be contracts. There's going to be agreements that staff is going to have to review.
Yeah.
That's part of the overall program.
Yeah.
They will have recommendations of how that moves ahead. They have some people that have very good experience on this side that have worked at the county levels, both at the staff level, that are experienced with this. So again, I think they will give us sound advice. Again, the documentation running through our financial side, we can't help it. We're going to have money that comes in, and Kim's going to have more work in getting those contracts out and people paying them. But again, it's going to be minimal as compared to trying to run this whole program ourselves.
Yeah. I was just wondering, even that you're a one-man team basically, and if you had other support, I'm not sure if this is even a good idea, but sometimes there are people in the engineering field that are interns. I don't know if that's a possibility, that you would get some help with that, but they don't have the background that you have, but I don't know if you could use the extra help.
I think we need to try to stand up this program most efficiently as possible.
Mhm.
And if I'm drowning, I will put my hand above the water so that you can see, and I'll ask for help.
Yeah.
But right now, I think the best thing to do is not anticipate what might happen. Let's see how things get stood up. The reason we're going to pay this group what we're going to pay them is because they're going to do the majority of the work. And it'll be my job to keep them on task, and it'll be their job to produce the work.
Okay, thanks, Jim.
Is that it?
Thank you.
Thank you. I would suggest everybody look at the meeting on the 22nd. That was also informational. One of the things that came out of it is the group would be looking at additional funding as they go along. So if there's a project that has funding that could be possible to be obtained, they would be looking for that. So we're actually getting a grant writer, I would think, on top of this, on that. Would the group like to come up and talk? You did it before, bring it up again.
Let me introduce Jeff Buckaloo, who's going to be the project manager for this, and then he can introduce his team.
Hello, County Council. Mr. Chairman, thank you. Yeah, my name is Jeff Buckaloo. I work for Infrastructure Consulting and Engineering. I'll be the program manager helping Jim and the county out. And I used to work for the town of Hilton Head for 23 years and been down in the Low Country for a long time. We also have here Leland Colvin. He was a Deputy Secretary of Engineering for SCDOT for many, many years. He just came over to our company about 2 years ago, Les Blankenship. He's our counsel. He's a vice president with ICE, but also worked for Berkeley County as the deputy administrator. And really helped set up and run their sales tax transportation program. And Brian McElwee over here also is another civil engineer. He was a town engineer at Bluffton and Hilton Head as well. And so we're anchored in the community. Our company just got the construction engineering and inspection contract for the I-95 widening job. So we're moving a lot of construction professionals and inspectors down to work on that project for the next 5+ years, let's say. So we're super excited about this one though. And as Jim mentioned, there's 6 major tasks in our contract. And with the limited staff of Jim himself, asking us to do virtually everything, we will set up the program. We will make plans for individual components of the program, how right-of-way is to be acquired, how utilities are to be coordinated, how public information is to be disseminated. And we would get those plans in place, so no matter who the players may come and go, if Jim left next week and someone came in the following week, the plan would be set at the outset of this program, and we will follow those plans throughout the 15 years, or get it done earlier if we can, we hope. But yes, so we will look at financial forecasting, cash flow from the revenues, seeking bonding, leveraging this money to go seek other grants and funding opportunities to get the county more money, maybe do projects faster, better, all those things. We will prioritize the projects with the committee's blessing, of course, that these are the full scopes. Here's the priority we want to do these projects, costing them out so we have a very good idea what the price is going to be when construction bids come in. We'll be scheduling. We will work with the DOT. All of the projects lie within DOT rights-of-way, so it is very key. Leland will talk to his old buddies at the DOT. We'll coordinate with them on the design procedures, permitting, all of that. Environmental permitting, we will vet all of that. We will look and see what permits we think will be required and get a early plan together on that, the permitting process, and we'll be hiring other design engineers to go out and design these individual projects, and we'll help Jim with that. So we will manage those. When they go to construction, we'll help manage the contractors, see that things stay on schedule and budget, process change orders, et cetera. So from A to Z, we're here to do the whole program for you folks, and very pleased and honored that you selected us. And if these 2 gentlemen or 3 want to say anything, you can go ahead. But is that fine? Any more questions or anything, Mr. Kemp?
No, sir.
Argent Boulevard, there's going to be a lot of headaches on that. There's a bridge that goes over between Sun City North and West. I mean, that bridge is going to have to be moved, or taken down. I'm not sure and how long do you expect Argent Boulevard to be completed? That's the first priority, I believe.
Yes, yeah,
Yeah.
we understand, yeah, that's first priority, but
Yeah.
to get to construction, we'll see, whether that's 18 months or whatever. We all know it's on the top of the list, but we will need to procure, like I say, get survey, get design rolling, and then through all the permitting, and hopefully make it as painless as possible. I'm not sure about the bridge design and installation with the foresight that road's gonna be widened.
Oh, it's
So
still
we'll see.
too-
I don't have
still
a
too early, I
proper
guess.
answer right now, sir, but.
Yeah, no problem. All right, thanks.
Well, I think that, are you finished?
Yeah, thanks.
I think that part of the thing we had talked about is not, those are the two priorities, but if there's something else comes up that's advantageous, we would go and put that in there. Some of the smaller items, that would go faster.
Yes, sir, I think we'll
So we show
reassess.
improvement.
Yes, sir. Look at the project list, and I think early wins to show the public, if they see orange barrels early on, that, hey, the money's being spent, and there's no question. But the website's gonna be key. We wanna make that very, very simple, easy to understand, easy to navigate, and talking about working with town staff. We'll work with Ms. Burgess on the finance, the revenue flows, et cetera, and then the website with your IT department, to whether it's a link on your website, we put some QR codes on some signs out there, your money at work. We talked about signage during the surveying phase and project setup, so the folks know, hey, Argent Boulevard, I don't see any, construction equipment, but things are underway, things are being done. So we intend to work with staff as needed to help communicate to the public and orchestrate the program.
That's very important that we put those signs up there.
Yes,
Show
sir.
that we're doing something with their money.
Yes.
Also, just at the meeting, since it started in May, so the first quarter, we collected $800,000. So that's actually 2 months, and usually, from the past penny tax, it ramps up. So $800,000 is just the beginning. It ramps up when people start collecting it.
I do have a question.
You-
I do have a question.
Okay, go on.
How do you guys, over the 5-year period, make your draws on the 8.9 million? Is it done
Monthly.
by progression or how's that work?
It'll be monthly and hourly, and these 6 major tasks have not to exceed allowances, right? So it'll be up to Jim, we'll have a work plan laid out, and at the end of each month, we will submit a bill saying, hey, person A worked 36 hours, person B worked 24 hours, et cetera. And so there'll be monthly invoices, but it will go against what was approved under those tasks. And these are caps or allowances not to be exceeded.
Right.
And we probably won't spend that much money, but it's there if needed, kind of worst case.
And is that something that you oversee, Jim?
Yes.
Yes.
When those come in, you go over everything?
Again, that's part of my management, is to make sure that when those bills come in, that I see that, hey, this was actually worked on. Yes, these are legitimate costs. I will sign off on those and then send them up to Kim's office. And again, the number is not to exceed. And if I can save $1, I'm gonna work on saving the dollar, again, because that's the best thing for the public. So they have to work on something and get it moving forward to get paid. I will check that. And again, these are maximums in the contract, not automatically handing it to them.
Okay. Thank you.
And one thing, Mr. Van Giesen, the invoices will come with a monthly status report and what we have produced. Here's what we got done last month, Jim. Here's, the people who billed hours to the project, but here's what we actually accomplished last month. Here's what we plan to accomplish next month.
Would that be on the website that you're going to propose?
Yes, we'll make it transparent.
Transparent?
Yep.
If anything, it's transparency. We've learned that. We've learned that. So, anything else?
I'm good. Thank you, guys.
Mr. Orzillo?
Well, I'd just like to thank Jim. It kind of seems like it's in your wheelhouse. When I hear you talk about these things, and I haven't known you a long time, but it's got confidence you'll look out for us. Appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Finished?
I have
Mr. G?
no questions.
Thank you very much, Jim. We look forward to it. I think, Fulgham, what's going to happen next, just so we understand?
This contract comes before you on the 2nd for your consideration to adopt it.
Would that be a resolution or a ordinance?
I would suggest you may want to make it a resolution, right, to affirm the signing of the contract, authorizing us to sign the contract, and so forth. So then your program manager group is on board and you're moving, okay? They can set up all that stuff and they can wow you with their presentation about having that package together for you. The second part of it, and just as important, is the Greenbelt portion. And that's a little more difficult for us in that we have never done a Greenbelt program before. So you're having to define the program and the process. With the road work, you're really just defining the process, okay? So that's what's next is Ms. Schaefer to tell you a little bit about our work in creating the program there. You will have to adopt an ordinance establishing the Greenbelt program and its parameters. And we'll try to get that to you for first reading as soon as it's appropriate, as soon as it comes together.
And on top of that, we have, when does the bonding come in, or when we discuss that in this whole realm of things?
Staff is working on that with a large meeting that will include representatives from ICE and financial advisor, Ms. Burgess, and we'll be talking about that. I think Ms. Schaefer's even going to join us on that call, so we can talk about our potential needs as we see them early on. You are authorized to borrow up to $150 million, and we'll get some strategies from the financial advisor and our bond counsel as to what makes sense for the county financially, and then we'll come back to you with those recommendations.
And one other thing, at our meeting on the 22nd, we had discovery of excess money from the old penny tax.
Yes, sir. You had a transportation sales tax, the first one ever in Jasper County in 2016. Those projects that were approved initially in 2016 in the ordinance for the referendum had changed over time. I'll give you a great example. One of the reasons for doing that sales tax, the council thought at the time, was to fix 321, which was in terrible condition. Well, by the time you passed the ordinance, had the referendum passed, and started the collections in May, a DOT stood up and took care of 321. So that kind of knocked off one of the larger projects. Long story short, those projects have morphed over time. There was a subsequent ordinance that was adopted by the council that called for the use of those funds since projects moved around. And those approved projects were James Taylor Drive reconstruction, which is the small road behind, I guess it's Burger King here in town of Ridgeland. Exit 8 and US 278 Improvement Project Area Phase 1, and that includes all the work that was done at Route 278 and Medical Center Drive, Brickyard Road, and all those improvements, and that new traffic light, turn lanes, sidewalks, which has been completed. The Hardyville Commerce Park main entrance road, transportation sales tax were used with the city along with many other funds, other grant funds, to complete that road into the new Commerce Park. That has been completed. The South Carolina 170 Corridor Access Management Study near-term improvements, which involved 5 separate interchanges and turn lanes project in conjunction with Beaufort County. The county dedicated $1 million toward that, and that has been completed as well. Construction of a new I-95 interchange, which is Exit 3, that surfaced with the second ordinance, and the council dedicated $13.5 million toward that project. $3.4 million of that had to be immediately sent to DOT to be held in escrow and paid for engineering to work with designing the the Exit 3 interchange in conjunction with the I-95 widening project. Of the $3.4 million that's in escrow at DOT, about half of that has been spent. $7 million in total was set aside for Exit 21 improvements. The town of Ridgeland had ideas about beautifying Exit 21. $313,000 of that have been spent through an IGA with DOT. Mead and Hunt was hired to do some work designing that work. We were very fortunate in that later today in this room, you'll be meeting with DOT, and DOT has been able to, as a part of the widening project, accomplish a lot of those things that were originally thought would be included out of that $7 million. So again, $6.7 million of that remains on hold for the town of Ridgeland in that project. US 278 corridor widening, which is right outside of the town of Ridgeland here in front of Polaris Tech and the EMS building, proposed to pipe the ditches in front of where the airport is. That project then leapfrogged out to the intersection of Route 278, Malfris Road, and Log Hall Road, and proposed to reorient that interchange. The county pursued a grant to try to do that. We had $750,000 obligated of transportation sales tax money and a large EDA grant. We had to unfortunately give back the EDA grant. We started that process with an engineering firm, and they could not perform in time for the grant to finish, and so we ended up discharging that firm. And so that is a project that's still sitting there that is important to Ridgeland that we probably need to go back and see if we can revive. And then the remainder of money was $1.2 million, and the council at that time decided to just put that in a pot for potential resurfacing of Highway 17. A selection of Highway 17 wasn't defined. So the good news is all that totaled up to $27,335,000. There was no bonding involved in 2016. We proposed to do just a pay-go as the money came in to spend it. So, you know, a little over 50% of the projects have been completed. The main bulk of the money is being held for Exit 3 and Exit 21. And the good news is you've been earning interest on that money for quite some time. So the entire 2016 effort was supposed to yield no greater than $30 million, and so it performed early and shut down, so that stopped. And you currently have a bank balance of $28,729,000. So you have spent roughly $7 million, and you still have almost $30 million. So you've got in excess of what is technically obligated to date of just shy of $10 million.
Thank you.
Yes,
Mr. Chair, could I
Yes.
just one other question I just had. I forgot to ask it earlier. Back in May of 2023, there was a project called the Triangle Traffic Project, and there was a Beaufort County engineer involved with that, and there was supposed to be an $80 million project with this NEPA process, National Environmental Policy Act, with that, and it was supposed the triangle was US 278 to Argent Boulevard, and then it would triangle up to 170 Oakity Highway, and then it extended it up to 462. So that was an $80 million project. They've made some improvements that I've seen, but I don't think $80 million has been spent. What I don't want to see is like a duplication of effort. Do you know anything about that, Jim? Or
A bulk of that was supposed to happen if Beaufort County passed their sales tax.
yeah,
That was defeated. Because that was defeated, Beaufort County's side of those projects has been put on hold. Argent Boulevard, it was part of that, and we are moving forward because we passed our sales tax. I will tell you there is federal money being set aside for all those projects as part of our LOCOG planning process. And so, again, we are moving forward with ours. Beaufort County is still deciding on how they're going to address their side of things. And again, I've been talking monthly with Beaufort County's engineering department to make sure that we're all on the same page and moving forward, and so that the public will benefit with those projects.
great. Thanks, Jim. That's all.
Next on the list is Ms. Schaefer.
Good
Good morning.
morning. Thank you all for the opportunity to share a little bit more about the Greenbelt program. As Mr. Fulgham said, this is a new component of Jasper County's sales tax, but it is by no means new And we've been able to borrow successfully from other counties. There's several counties in South Carolina that raise sales tax funding for roads and for land conservation at the same time because of the dual growth management benefits that both provide. If you're building roads for new communities or existing communities and protecting land proactively, you are doing two things at once to manage growth for your county and create a livable place where people want to be. So just to step back, I'm Kate Schaefer. I'm Director of Land Protection for the Open Land Trust, which is a local land trust. We're based out of Beaufort, and we work in 7 counties here in the Low Country. But we are one of over 20 land trusts in the state of South Carolina, and I work regularly through the Land Trust Network with other land trusts and conservation partners. Like I said, there are also several counties that have programs like this, and ordinance and application language has been borrowed from things that have been working well. So we are not reinventing the wheel, but hopefully setting an even higher standard for the next county that may look to Jasper County to see what is working well. In the state of South Carolina, we're also thankful to have a state conservation bank, and so your program is designed to work best with the State Conservation Bank and other conservation funding programs. And I'm going to explain a little bit about that too. So backing up, November of 2024, your constituents, Jasper County voters, approved the sales tax where 80% of the funding would go toward road construction and 20% of the funding would go to land protection. So I'm just talking about the land piece. And again, that is allowed by state enabling legislation that sees the co-benefit in building infrastructure and protecting land. There is a full 2.5-hour video of this kind of land protection 101 that we were able to share in May of 2025 with your sales tax committee. I'm going to try not to take 2.5 hours today because y'all are very busy people, and I know this will come up at future meetings, but I remain available to speak and to answer any questions and find the answers if I don't know them after today. So way back in your agenda, which I know you're working through, you have a flow chart. And I just want to talk a little bit about the flow chart, and then I have some hard copies for you as well. But there's a whole packet of information. So again, land conservation projects are a proactive way to help Jasper County to protect water quality, to protect farmland, forest land, to support landowners as they manage rural land, to help the towns and the county in achieving public access for recreation, for bird watching, for hiking, for public enjoyment, for launching boats and kayaks and different things. Thank you. I don't even know what page this was on. So thank you so much. So to provide support for rural landowners, to provide public access for enjoyment and access to the outdoors, it is proactive. Jim and I have talked about the difference between the roads and the land protection piece. You know, an engineering project may take years to design. A land protection project can be done in relatively short order. And so, you know, having signage for the engineering projects to show progress and having these kind of more immediate land protection opportunities will hopefully return some trust and immediate benefit to your voters that trusted all of Jasper County with this funding. I'd also, you know, just like to say that the cost of development over time often exceeds the cost of conservation. So you need to do both strategically as a county. You want to put infrastructure in the right place and protect land in the right place to minimize the long-term costs and create a clear, predictable application process for land trusts, towns, counties, Department of Natural Resources, and landowners. So the flow chart just highlights two things, or highlights several things. I want to start with two that are shown in kind of the peachy orange color. The first is that this process will come by competitive application. So land trusts, the Department of Natural Resources, the town of Ridgeland, the city of Hardeeville will apply to spend the money. Also in Peach shows that it actually comes down to a council vote. So you all will decide to spend the money. So it is a council decision. These funds are raised by the county, and it is up to you to determine where to allocate the money. And then all of the stuff that happens in between is to enable you to make the best decision possible. So there will be due diligence that is provided to you, like an appraisal, a survey of the property, an easement, if that is applicable, a conservation easement that restricts development on the property, that stays with the property forever. There will be recommendations for public access, if any exist. And all of that will be subject to a qualitative review. Yes, a description of the property and photographs and things like that, but also quantitative review. You know, what are we doing here to protect water quality, to protect species of concern, to support forestry and farming industries, to protect scenic road frontage? And so there's an application and a scoring rubric, and that gets back to the predictability piece. It should be clear to the applicant or to the landowner, to the land trust, to the town that, you know, my property is a good candidate for funding because, and that scoring rubric kind of helps identify those things. Visually, you can see a lot of that scoring showing up in a priority map. Your sales tax committee has recommended that you all adopt the Conservation Bank priority map to show you places of highest priority. That is not set in stone. Obviously, if there is a property in medium priority space and you all choose to fund it, that's your prerogative. And a lot of Jasper County actually does rank in the red as high priority. But the Conservation Bank updates this map annually based on the best publicly available data to give you the best set of information. And so the Sales Tax Committee recommended that this be y'all's priority map, again, subject to your local knowledge when you make that final vote. And it may be that your local knowledge says, yes, but this is next to a boat landing that is used by my constituents and that it needs improved access, or yes, this is next to a historic resource and protecting the land around this historic resource would protect that, give people more of an opportunity to enjoy it, et cetera. So in establishing the program, we're not only proposing a draft ordinance that describes this entire process, but a draft application and that scoring rubric along with the map. Are there questions about the process?
Mr. Engiesen? No. Mr. Orzillo? Mr. Jean?
Okay, great. To explain, just some of the benefits and some of the outcomes of this program, a benefit of having a predictable application process on a quarterly basis like this is that qualified applicants can come to you, but they can also come to other funding sources. So South Carolina, through local funding and through the Conservation Bank, has been very successful in bringing multiple funding sources to the table. So the burden to protect a piece of property will never just be on Jasper County taxpayers. And having a predictable process will allow land trusts like me, for example, or like ours, for example, to apply for other funding. So maybe some of the funding comes from Jasper, some of the funding comes from the Department of Defense, some of the funding comes from a local source, the private landowner, himself or herself. And so that's one of the benefits is to make this money go as far as it possibly can and be used as efficiently as it possibly can. Because I think if any one of us were to go out and think about properties that were worthy of protection, we might exceed the available funds, especially given the rising property values. So it's important to use that money efficiently. The other thing that this program can do, again, is to protect land by conservation easement, which I'll describe a little bit, or to protect land by fee simple ownership. So imagining an end public owner like the town, like the county, like the city of Hardeeville, or even the Department of Natural Resources or Parks, Recreation, and Tourism, something like that. So just to give a quick overview, again, all of the backup is included, but conservation easements are actually are not real estate transactions where Jasper County would own the land, but they stay with the landowner. And a third-party land trust holds the easement, which is a set of restrictions on what can and can't be done on the property. So they are voluntary with the private landowner, and they are permanent. They stay with the land. If that landowner chose to sell the property in the future, the easement would still govern what can and can't happen on that property. The benefit for this program being able to fund projects both by conservation easement and by fee simple acquisition is an opportunity to protect more land and to have this patchwork of publicly protected and accessible properties and privately protected and accessible properties. Because land protected by conservation easement will stay with the private landowner and stay on the tax rolls, and that private landowner will be responsible for, again, growing the trees or managing the land to his or her desire. So typically easements are less expensive on a per acre basis, and the land trust involved is responsible for long-term care. In both scenarios, easements or fee simple, matching funds and other financial incentives are available, and that speaks to the efficiency piece. The backup has a couple more benefits, but I just want to walk through some examples because I think that's often the best way to understand what this program is really capable of. So you can keep going, scrolling down. Some examples of easements that already exist in Jasper County and provide public benefit to Jasper County residents. You can keep going. Include the easement on the Glover property. Glover, which was protected in 2012, is over 2,000 acres. It's held with Ducks Unlimited, which is one of the partner land trusts that work in South Carolina. That easement was partially funded with monies from the State Conservation Bank. The Huguenin family on the Broad River has protected a series of their land holdings totaling over 900 acres. Those easements are held by another partner land trust, Low Country Land Trust, and that was fully donated. When we refer to an easement as being donated, it means the landowner has donated the value of the land and has not received funding to do so. You can keep going. A portion of Good Hope, which is a large property in the Yuha district, is permanently protected. 2,000 acres of Good Hope was protected in 2008. That's also held by Low Country Land Trust, and that's an example of a donated easement. You may have heard some questions about timbering and farming and if that can happen on easements. And if you've seen, there has been some timber production that has taken place on Good Hope, and that can happen under conservation easements. Farming and forestry are allowed uses. You can also build, a couple of family homes. So if you're protecting a property in your family, for example, like the Huguenins or the Glovers did, and you have a couple of children, you want to reserve the right for them to be able to build a home on that property or to be able to enjoy that property. But what you're restricting is the right for a national home builder to come in and build 100 or 1,000 homes on the property. And then one of the more recent easement examples is on Gregory Neck. This was protected in 2024. It's over 4,000 acres. We actually hold that easement at the Open Land Trust, and this easement was partially funded by the State Conservation Bank, by the Department of Defense, because of the strategic benefit that a protected Gregory Neck provides to the pilots that fly from Marine Corps Air Station Beaufort to Townsend Bombing Range in Georgia, and was also partially funded by Beaufort County's sales tax program because of the water quality benefits downstream to Beaufort County constituents, fishing in the Broad River or swimming in the Port Royal Sound. So those are some recent examples of easements. Some recent examples of fee properties are also included in here. And they include the newly established Coosawhatchee WMA, which is right on the edge of the town of Ridgeland, over 12,000 acres, that's now permanently protected by the Department of Natural Resources. They own that property outright, and there are hunting rights that are allowed on that property as well as public access. And then Meyer Lake, another 900 acres acquired by the Department of Natural Resources closer to the Savannah River, near the outtake for Beaufort Jasper Water Sewer Authority. That property is not yet open to the public, but the public benefit being around our drinking water source and right where that outtake happens is immense. So all throughout this PowerPoint, and as you've seen in the backup, there's this map that shows protected property in Jasper County. One of the questions we get a lot is, from interested landowners that say, well, I don't want to restrict everything on my property. How does this continue to benefit me? And you can see there are neighbors to consult and help answer that question. Landowners are often the best ambassadors. But if you've been out to any of these properties or you've driven by any of these properties, I think both the private benefit and the public benefit are immediately apparent. Driving down a rural road, having that road frontage protected, having that river frontage protected if you fish in the river, are immense. And so again, this process is being set up for qualified applicants to have a clear and predictable way to continue to work with landowners and provide for the benefit of conservation easements and the acquisition of fee simple land for public enjoyment. And I'm happy to take any other questions.
Mr. Jean?
I had seen your presentation the last time at the Transportation Advisory Committee meeting. You did a great job, and I appreciate the work that's being done.
Thanks.
With your group. The other thing I had concerns with, I'm sort of a bicycle. I like to ride a bicycle, and I'm sort of trapped in the community where I live because there's all these dangerous roads that surround our area. It's like Argent Boulevard, 170, and I always get a kick out of the signs that say "share the road." I mean, if you share the road with a bicycle on those roadways, you're looking for a death sentence, I think. So I'm hoping that you're including all of these nice, features that make it more comfortable for recreation type of activities and that type of thing when you move forward. My other question was, which I asked and Jim had answered, but who will you interact with Jim? You interact with him basically, and so Jim, you're going to have a lot on your plate coming in both directions. So but I applaud the work that you're doing, and I appreciate the fact that it's jointly worked out with the ICE people.
Yeah.
I don't like to use that word, but it is what it is. So I appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
In Charleston, Berkeley, and Dorchester counties, just up the coast from us, there have also been successful combinations where sales tax funding has been split between roads and green belts, and those departments interact regularly as well. So thankfully we're in good company, but absolutely point taken on the need for interaction and communication. It's all clearly outlined by the voter-approved referendum. So those are the bright guardrails, which is also nice to have those bright lines and structure. Yeah. And then to your point about bike and pedestrian safety, that is both an engineering question and an opportunity for land protection. The East Coast Greenway that runs through this area is, an active partner in the larger conservation conversations. So I can say it's, a collaborative community, and any opportunity to affect some positive change is a good one to consider. Yeah.
Great, thank you.
Finish?
That's it.
Mr. Rosello?
Good morning, Michelle.
Good morning.
So as you know, Jasper County doesn't have too many boat landings, and the ones we have are heavily used by people from Georgia. It's a very important thing here. And you mentioned the 900 acres at Myers Lake, and for my lifetime, we've always had access to that to duck hunt mainly and everything. And did you mention that is no longer open to the public? It's
not yet open to the public. So it was purchased by the Department of Natural Resources in the last 12 months, and so they haven't opened it yet in their ownership, but they will, and there will be, I'm sure, public information about that. I don't have that immediately available, but yeah, that's a great example. There's other public access in that same area.
Are you very familiar with that landing?
I am not as familiar. My colleague with Low Country Land Trust worked with the Department of Natural Resources on that transaction, so I'd be happy to get more information for you.
Well, and it's a small landing, but it is your understanding that would become available?
Yeah, if you scroll down, I think there's a map of Meyer Lake, and you can see kind of where that land transaction fits. Yeah, it's the pink property shown on this map. So there's some private and public land protection around it, another 972 acres. But your larger point about boat landings is really important. When we actually were involved in the lead up to the 2024 election and were polling voters, access to the water and boat landings in particular is hugely important. And I mean, understandably so. It's why so many of us, live the way we do here in the Low Country, take our kids fishing, enjoy the rivers. So that's incredibly important, and I've actually already had some preliminary meetings with folks in Ridgeland and in the city of Hardeeville about, how can we expand public access, especially to the water. We've talked a lot with your staff about it. I think it's a huge opportunity to expand the public access to the water, to look at the land around the boat landings that are either not owned yet by the county and should be, or could be protected privately to expand that benefit.
Right, so I would just finish using my time to say that, yes, the boat landings, because even Bowling Hall, I know that there's some issues there that can be worked out. So I think we had some leases, and I would like to see as much of this as possible be focused on that particular item. I know parks and all that, but everybody's going to get their turn here, but that's my interest in this.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Mengivan.
Excuse me, I don't have any questions this time. I'm just digging into it, so at some point I will.
Mr. Chairman, if I may, just want to kind of go through practically what you will see next and how this will work. Just as Jim explained to you, needing a program manager on that side, we're going to recommend as staff that we also have maybe a different term, but a program manager on this side. You will ultimately be the deciders, as Kate has said, but we want that to go through a pretty rigorous gauntlet before it gets to you for that decision. And the way that we propose that to work is that we would hire an outside third-party group, which could be a land group, it could be a private consultant, to take the actual applications and rank them and review them for you. Then that particular application on a quarterly basis would go before the Transportation Sales Tax Advisory Committee. They would, in essence, be your Green Belt Committee as well. Then that group would beat up those applications and do their due diligence. And then ultimately it would come back to the full county council for action. So staff will not be involved in the actual applications. I want to make sure that that's known. That's our intent, so that we don't have individual staff members dealing with these applications, but we have a third-party independent group doing that, so that your decisions can be purely objective and not subjective. When it gets to you, it should have gone through the gauntlet and had lots of due diligence and lots of questions, and it should be a no-brainer by the time it gets to you. That's our hope. And so once you adopt the ordinance, that pretty much, and the road project, you have a list of roads. Once you adopt the ordinance and decide on the map where your priorities are and the application process, and that the Transportation Advisory Committee is going to be your Greenbelt Committee, and the ordinance is adopted, then we propose to do an RFP with that ordinance to invite that private interest to handle that program for us. Just wanted to be sure you all understood what our intent is going forward.
Are there any other questions that I can answer at this time?
I have an observation.
Okay.
It's when we're in my travels, I guess, and other things. It was said, and it just brings this out, is if we don't get $3 for every dollar we spend on this, we're not doing well. So this is just seed money. I think it as seed money. Don't think of it as we have to spend everything every place. It's just seed money. So if we show interest, other people will show interest.
That's right.
Right.
I'll just underscore that. This area of the country is nationally significant in terms of its conservation and historic values. So we should absolutely be leveraging as much outside funding as possible to make this money go as far as it possibly can. Because not only is that the right thing to do for the taxpayers, it's the right thing to do for the resources that we have on the ground. The Port Royal Sound, the South Coast salt marsh resources that we have here are unparalleled when it comes to national significance and value. And so we should be very proudly telling that story. Gregory Neck is a great example. In 2024, this project in Jasper County received 24% of the military funding awarded that cycle. So really outkicking our coverage in terms of a small county in South Carolina receiving 24% of federal funding. It's a big deal. We should be proud of that and act accordingly. So I'm excited about that opportunity for the county as well. Thank you.
And just another thing, we're talking about the Marine base. When I went over there, they're very active. They want more land so they don't have to. And I guess, so everybody knows, they don't want their pilots flying over land that's populated.
That's right.
So it behooves us to say, okay, there's going to be a corridor almost down there. And yes, we need to do landings. We have a lot to do, but we have to use our money well on that.
Yep.
And I thank you. Just one other thing. Who would be the person that would come forward? How would people come forward? Would it be a land trust coming forward, or would it be individuals, or would it be everybody?
It could be a land trust, it could be a state agency, it could be the town. So your ordinance would define what a qualified applicant looks like. In Beaufort County, in Charleston, Dorchester, Berkeley, and at the state level, there's the definition that includes land trusts and resource agencies, as well as towns, municipalities, and counties. So if the city of Hardeeville had a public access project, if the Open Land Trust was working with a landowner on a conservation easement, if Department of Natural Resources was going to add something, having that clear, predictable process would allow them to come to Jasper and say, I think my project is a great fit for your funding. On a quarterly basis, you would decide on a quarterly basis, yes or no, and they'd be able to receive that money as awarded by you all and then hold it in escrow until the real estate closing takes place, either the fee purchased by the resource agency or the easement that gets recorded in your register of deeds by the land trust and private landowner.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate
If I
it.
can just add one thing on that, and I hope that gives you some comfort, because we anticipate a majority of the projects will be in that fashion, will come to you from a land trust of some sort. And know that if they're putting their money into it, they also have done their due diligence, and they have boards to report to and so forth. So it's a teamwork effort to make sure you're screening the projects very well and that everybody's putting in a little bit of money.
Okay. Mr. Fulgham, public hearing and consideration of resolution R-2025-49 to authorize the Jasper County Administrator to execute a surrender of premises, equipment use, transfer, and transition agreement with its first addendum by and between Jasper County Sheriff, and Jasper Animal Rescue Mission regarding animal services and related matters. Mr. Fulgham.
Mr. Chairman, the council deferred this for action at your last meeting. You placed it on the agenda today. I understand it's not ready for a consideration for adoption of the resolution, but we did want to offer the public a chance to say something if they'd like to. The document before you hasn't changed from your last meeting, but you have been provided some additional receipts and information about the items listed as exhibits in the resolution.
I will open the public to talk about this. Anybody would like to talk about the animal rescue? No one? Anyone? Yes, Ms. Dupont. Please state your name and your address.
Hello, my name is Patricia Hicks DuPont, a Jasper County resident. My concern is, directly and indirectly, as it relates to the animal shelter and the monies that's going to be spent. We do have a homeless population, and I don't even know whether we've ever discussed that. And so my concern is, yes, we have animals, and animals is very important to some people. Those that are blind, they need the dogs. You know, other people need it for security, whatever the case may be. But I want the council to know that we have human beings as well that needs assistance, that needs money set aside for them. And so even though we're growing exponentially in one area, but there's a population in Jasper County who's suffering because of either wages or circumstances, and I want the council to know, yes, take care of the dogs, but we also have a responsibility to make sure and to take care of those that need us the most. Thank you so much.
Mr. Lafayette Weber. This is on the animal control.
No, I want to discuss the growth.
That's not on the agenda today. Okay, hearing none, we're gonna postpone this resolution till
2nd of September?
September, Mr.
Second.
Fulgram?
September 2nd.
Would you say we have to give a date we want to postpone this to? Would you be saying the next meeting, 6/2?
I don't think there's any harm in committing to put it on the November 2nd meeting. If we can alert the clerk today to do that, and then you can either take action or not, and we'll go ahead and just put another public hearing out there.
Okay. So we'll go to the 2nd. So no action was taken. Number 8. It's me. Consideration of Resolution R-2025-53, a resolution of the Jasper County Council declaring the Hardyville District appointment position at the County Airport Commission to be vacant. Do I have any discussion? Hearing none. Do I have a motion to approve, disapprove?
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to approve.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor, raise their right hand. All against? The motion is passed. Position has been vacant. Consideration of Resolution R-2025-54, a resolution of Jasper County Council declaring Jasper County County at-large appointed position at the Low Country Council of Governments to be vacant. Any discussion? Hearing none, I'd like to have a motion to approve, disapprove, or amend.
I'll make a motion to approve R-2025-54.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor, raise their right hand and say aye.
Aye.
All against? Hearing none, the motion has passed. Consideration of Resolution R-2025-55, a resolution of the Jasper County Council to appoint Mr. Chad Scott to fill the Hardyville District appointed position at the County Airport Commission. Any discussion?
I just have a question about that.
Yes.
What, Hardyville's representation at the Jasper County Airport, what does that involve, though?
Each, in the ordinance, each councilman has a right to put somebody on the airport board.
Okay. Are they actively involved with the airport operation?
It's not, it's just, when we say Hardyville, it's the Hardyville district.
Mhm.
It's just so we know which councilman has the right to put somebody on.
Okay.
I'll explain to you. It's
Yeah.
it's not considering Hardyville. It's just that you have to differentiate. You can't say Mr. Orzillo because he may not be here in 10 years or 5 years.
Okay,
So it's just a
continuity.
continuity type thing.
Okay, I'm good with it, thanks.
Okay. Do I have a motion to approve, disapprove, or amend?
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to approve Mr. Chad Scott for the Hardyville District appointment to the Airport Commission.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor, raise their right hand and say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All against? Hearing none, the resolution has passed. Chairman Kemp again, consideration of the third reading of an ordinance O-2025-19 to amend and add a subsection of the Jasper County SC Code of Ordinances, Chapter 26, Taxation, Article 1, General, first reading. Excuse me, first and general. This is a ordinance where the tax sale, if somebody comes to the tax sale and they bid on something and they forfeit it, we raise the penalty from $300 to $500, which is the state maximum. And also, we have another penalty that they cannot bid for 2 years if they forfeit their first bid, which will prevent them from making a bid to save the land or obtain the land, and what happens when you bid and you forfeit, it goes back to the tax sale. So people come up there and they'll say, let's say $1,000 is $1,000 in taxes. They'll bid $100,000 or whatever it is, and they just keep on doing it every year after year. So that's to prevent that. Are there any questions or just, we've gone through this 3 times. This will be a 3rd time. Is there any discussion?
I have no questions.
No, sir.
Mr. Guin?
No questions.
Although, I'd like to have a motion to approve, disapprove, or amend.
I'll make a motion to approve ordinance 0/2025-19.
Do I have a second?
I'll second, Mr. Chair.
All those in favor, raise their right hand and say aye.
Aye.
All against? Motion has passed. Let me just go here. Too much paperwork here. Consideration of Resolution R-2025-56, a resolution of the Jasper County Council to provide a resolution to the delegations of Beaufort and Jasper County for Tri-Share. Tri-Share is the people of Jasper County, and Jeff Bradley and Shannon Erickson, who are state representatives, have recognized that child care is very important in the county. And the big companies can afford giving child care to their employees. The mid-size and small companies cannot. So what they're proposing is that Tri-Share would consider 50% being paid for by the person using it, 25% by the state, and 25% by a company. A child care costs about $13,000 per year per child. Most people cannot afford that, and when they do apply or they do go to work, they find out that they make less putting their child, because they put their child in child care, they can't afford to work. So they do not work. So this is just a proposal to have the state fund their 25% and set up a model for child care for the county. Any questions? Mr. Jean?
So the South Carolina Department of Social Services,
Correct.
and are they aware of all of this?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, all right. I think this has been used in other counties as well.
Right.
I believe, too, yeah, all right.
Mr. Jeff, Mr. Harzilla.
So there's 3 components of this, being the state, the employer, and is it federal?
The person.
No, the person. Using it.
And this is not this is just a resolution, a recommendation of,
Right.
thank you.
Mr. Van Giesen.
Tough one for me. I don't have anything to say about it this time.
Okay.
Well,
It is a resolution, so I gave this to you before. What it is just trying, we are a growing county. And part of the problem we'll be seeing is finding work to come to Jasper County. If we have childcare or assistance to childcare, it's just an incentive to come here to work.
Now, why does taxpayer dollars pay for that? That's my question.
Just as an incentive to pay for a company to come here?
Why should you or I pay for that, or help pay for that?
Because you pay for it in other ways.
Well, I've got, 3 kids, 13 grandkids. I pay for a lot of stuff myself, and I have a hard time with some of this stuff. That's all I'm saying. I just do. At any rate.
Well, it's something that it's incentive for companies to come here. When they see that, it's like an investment. And it's just an investment in a person, an investment in a company to come in here. It's incentive. It's just like when we go out there at SCA and they're selling things and we do a FILO or something like that, we're doing almost the same thing. We're just giving another incentive.
Well, it sounds like if it did pass, and like I said, it's a resolution, and I'm sure everybody would like all this, but it does cut both ways, and tell me if I'm wrong, it sounds like it would be mandated to an employer for this, correct?
Yes.
And that would be a mandate. And so folks that are already hired and thank you.
And we also have this is also supported by our Representative Jeff Bradley and Senator Davis and the Beaufort Representative Shannon Erickson. So it's something that the state also provides. It's just.
Well, that's my point, and it sounds like a double thing there. And when we shift things like this, on occasion, it just puts the burden locally, and then where it was coming from, they kind of cut back, and everything just kind of gets pushed to the local community, and it's a double thing. And I know that it's not a good explanation of what I'm saying, but the more, like the roads, the more we pay, possibly the less the state would. We pay for the roads already. We pay, and I'm just using that example. And the same thing here. The taxes that come out of a person's payroll goes for a lot of things, and we just seem to find new ways to do it, and more and more and more. And I do get concerned that when we get over the 50% mark of what all is required, everything under the sun is a good idea until there's no money to do it. And that'd be the last I'll say on it. But thank you.
Do you have any more?
Just a quick comment. I do agree with Chris in a way, but I just say it's like a double-edged sword, on these type of things. It's either you pay somebody to stay home or you pay them to go to work, and companies are struggling to try to get personnel, and childcare becomes an issue. So I see in some way that as much as I'm not crazy about it, I think it's the best way to kind of go about it, but I'm in favor of it.
Okay. I'd like to have a motion to approve, disapprove, or amend.
I'll make a motion to approve Resolution 2025-56.
Do I have a second? Do I have a second? Absence of a second, the motion has not passed. Thank you. Like on number 13, adjournment. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Do I have a second?
I'll
Second.
All those in favor say aye and raise their right hand.
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much.